call.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Here.
Alderman Woods.
Here.
Alderman Roy Wesley. Alderman Eugene Wesley. Alderman Sorrentino.
Here.
Alderman Messina. Alderman Catalano.
Here.
Alderman Jacob.
Here.
Okay, declare a quorum. We're going to go right to the report and recommendation for the special events code. Chief Vesta? What am I missing some? Oh, I'm sorry.
He doesn't want to do them.
I'm just going to speed
Next
along
week.
here. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of November 10th?
I'll make the motion. Second.
So passed. All in favor?
Aye.
Really? Did I miss that? What else did I mess up? That's it? Yeah. We're hear from Mayor Nunzio first, Chief.
All right. Just a quick announcement, received something from Holy Ghost School, Thursday, December 22nd, for 2nd and 8th grade to 8th grade, 9:30 to 1 p.m. They have a one-session infield play and hitting. For baseball, they're going to have special guest instructor, Detroit Tigers Dream Big Academy, and Illinois Patriots coach Pete Miller, and the session's $25, and it's December 22nd, 9:30 to 1 p.m. for 2nd to 8th graders.
Thank you, and I'll add to that, since I can, because I'm the chairman.
You're the chairman.
This day that Holy Ghost is sponsoring this sporting event, all of our young ones will be on their Christmas break, and I can't think of a more affordable, more healthy, productive, and positive thing. And for $25, all grandparents and parents, it makes a great gift, and the kids just love it. Enough of that. All right, Chief, we're going to go right into the special events code.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
So, in the past, there's been a number of events that have required closure of city streets. Some of these have been other taxing bodies, like the Park District holding, they've started in the last couple of years hosting some runs. We've also had bike races that have come into town over the Memorial Day weekend up in the industrial park, and they've requested barricades and road closures. And then this past year, we had a restaurant in town that was interested in closing an alleyway and having a type of food fair. There was some interest in that. They didn't ultimately go through with it, but all these things coming up recently, we kind of identified that there was a need to have a special events permitting process, and probably most importantly is when they're looking to close off any city streets for commercial ventures, is making sure that there's appropriate insurance that covers the city in the event of an accident. So there's some things in city code that was in chapter 4. There's some things in the building code that the city has adopted. There's some DuPage County health permitting issues. And so what we wanted to come up with is a special events chapter to the city code that kind of outlines what type of events they should be submitting an application to the city ahead of time. We're not looking, this isn't a money-making venture for the city. And as a matter of fact, for nonprofits, we're looking to make nonprofits and other taxing bodies no charge. For commercial, let's say a restaurant or a business wanting to have a large event that shuts down city streets for a fair or something, just a $50 permit to cover, us looking into it and making sure everything's in place. So what we've come up with is Chapter 19 that kind of outlines some of these procedures. And to go along with Chapter 19 is in your packet, a special event permit application. And in there, it lays out timelines for anyone that would want to host an event that would come onto city property. It has checkoffs for all the major departments, including community development, police department, the fire district, and public works. We just want to be able to be prepared ahead of time. I know with one of the bike races, either last year or the year before, there was literally about a 2-day notice, and we were able to accommodate it, but really there should be a lot longer notice. So we think this special events permit kind of lays out those guidelines. It reminds them about that they have to call the health department if there's certain food things going on. It reminds them about building permit applications if they're going to have certain large tents or structures that are being built, and basically just lays out a permitting process for this. At the same time, we want to go ahead and clarify city block parties. The city clerk's office has a form for block parties, and we want to accommodate those by also having Public Works provide barricades and shut down the road for those, but we want to kind of formalize the procedures that are in place. And it also formalizes the procedure if someone's going to have a band or live music at, let's say, a wedding or graduation party. It's a one-page application. They don't have to go through the 11-page application that a commercial event would have to go through. And it just gives a sign-off that we're all aware of it, the police department's aware of it. If we get a noise complaint, it extends them being able to have like a live music or a band until 10 p.m. After that, it would end. So that's what we're coming to you with tonight. There's quite a few pages in the application, but that's a summary of what we're looking for.
Any questions on this? Mr. Jacob?
Hi, a couple questions. As far as for the block party, do they need to, I know there's talks in here about having insurance. Does a block party, do they need to get insurance if
No, this would, for the block parties, a separate permit, there's no insurance requirements, and the city would continue to do like we do now, is provide barricades for the event, so.
okay,
Another question?
and then as far as if somebody did have a block party, would they be allowed to have alcohol, like on the city streets, or would that be illegal?
Technically, it falls under the open alcohol ordinance. I guess I would have to take a little bit closer look at the ordinance. Right now, we don't really regulate that because there's no sales that are going on. Certainly, if there was sales, that would fall under the liquor ordinance, but a closed block party would probably be a little bit more leniency. I could get a better answer to that one, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Alderman Jacob, if I could address that question. I believe if there's going to be liquor served, it would need to be on a resident's property, and that resident would need to supply us with a certificate of insurance of the host liquor liability. Work with me on that one.
Sounds like a legal enough answer.
Very good. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Chief,
Mayor,
you
police.
mentioned the bike race. So last year was 2 days, so you're gonna make them aware of that we need 30-day notice. We have their number, we can call them up.
Yeah, we've actually already proactively reached out to them, and they're aware that this is coming. And the business that was looking to do it last year, they're aware that we were looking to put this into place.
Any follow-ups? Okay. Well, before we make the motion, I just want to personally tell you, you did a fabulous job as always, and I know you always have the best interests of the citizens of Wooddale in all of your work, and this didn't happen overnight, so
Thanks.
kudos to you.
And the assistant city clerk, she was a big help in putting this together too, and community development, so. It was a
Excellent
group
team
effort,
effort.
so.
So with that, I make a motion.
Second.
I'll make a motion. We did? Oh. Would I leave the room? Okay. All right, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, let's see, items to be considered at future meetings. Should put this acronym out for discussion, see who knows it. The DuPage Justice Information System will be considered at future meetings, and that is our reporting software for our record management system. It'll be a countywide program. So, motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Like to call the Public Works Committee to order, let the minute taker show that the same members are present. First, I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 27th, 2016.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Next, important recommendation, approval and agreement with L. Warren Oil for the replacement of diesel fuel tanks in an amount not to exceed $22,183. That is my motion.
Second.
Any questions? Mr. Jacob?
I know there is two options where we pay up front or pays the additional 5 cents.
5 cents.
Yeah, it says 5 cents for all gasoline until the 22,000 is paid off. I mean, I would like to see, since there's no charge for that, I think we should just, just allows us so we don't have to write a check up front.
Mr. York? you
Yes, yes, basically there was two options available from Al Warren Oil. Since this was a non-budgeted expense, something that came forward to us that we needed to replace it, Al Warren Oil decided that they would allow us the opportunity to pay for the tank up front on their cost and give us basically a no-interest loan. So we would pay 5 cents a gallon for all of our gasoline purchases until we had paid off the amount. So if you want to do that for a year or 2 years, and then there's 15,000 left over, and we just want to put it in the CIP for a couple years out, and we can just pay for it all off at once. There's no penalties for paying it off ahead of time, and this also allows us the opportunity to have some of the other entities that utilize our gas pumps, have them a little skin in the game instead of the city just paying out front for the oil or for the gasoline moving forward.
You want to amend the motion?
Well, I did have one additional question. Is that something, I mean, I know we already track it because we have the cards, that it's not going to be hard to track.
No, not hard at all.
Yeah, I think we should amend our motion.
And you want to amend it to say?
Go with option 2 of paying the additional 5 cents a gallon until the 22,183 is paid off.
The motioner, I agree. The seconder, do you agree?
I agree.
Oh,
Second.
I'm sorry. Okay. Motioner and second agree. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Next, approval of an agreement with Mark Kresnery Construction LLC for work at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant, an amount not to exceed $22,877.25. That is my motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Next, approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Wooddale and DuPage County, I-19 Irving Park Road and County Highway 28 Wooddale Road. That is my motion.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is award of the Front Street Parking Lot Engineering Construction Management to Robinson Engineering in an amount not to exceed $38,900. That is my motion.
Second.
Any questions? Moving right along here. Clipping. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Next items to be considered at future meetings, we have city street signs, January 2017. Potter Street Contract Award, February 2017. SOQ Engineering List, February 2017. GPS in trucks, winter. ComEd Ash Street Design to be determined. Wastewater Treatment Plant, landscaping. Veterans Memorial to be determined. And last, Tollway IGA to be determined. Is there anything else somebody would like to add to that laundry list of things? Nope. Okay. Being none, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Call the Finance Administration Committee to order. Let the minute taker note the same people are present. I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from November 10th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Next, Wooddale Cares. I would like to make a motion to approve a phone line for the Wooddale Cares Committee. That is my motion. Any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes. Make a motion to pass a motion of the insurance package A consisting of Brit, Hanover, and IPRF. That is my motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino?
Yes.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes, that passes. Next, garbage RFP results. If we could get Mr. Wilson to give us a little presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Didn't go too in-depth here on the slides, but just wanted to give an overview, kind of where we're at, where we're going at this point. So just a little background information. The current contract expires April 30th of next year. It began May 1st back in 2010. Obviously, it was a 7-year contract that was entered into. Per council direction, staff put the service out to bid, out the RFP. Ms. Heckler did a great job preparing that document and getting that out and working on the timelines and communicating with all of the providers. The sealed proposals were received by staff on November 14th, and then the new contract would begin on May 1st, 2017, to coincide with the end date of the previous contract. The current program, very high level, collection dates are Monday and Tuesday. Refuse and recycling all year round, yard waste seasonally, obviously when the growing season and when the yards are open, and it's currently unlimited collection. The RFP results, we had 6 providers submit proposals in the manner that was described within the RFP. All 6 of them, made it to the mandatory pre-meeting and everything, so there were no issues with the bid and the process in and of itself. The rates that were largely provided in the staff memo were based upon the current program. A few firms did submit on the alternatives. However, after reviewing them, they were not favorable relative to the current program or to the residents, the pricing. But, we asked the question and just to see what was out there, and looks like the current program was the right way to go to continue on with that. Additional information, all of the RFPs were placed in the city's job box for review. That was in the manager's report multiple times. It's been out there. And then some selected highlights of some of the firms were in the staff memo. Obviously, the proposals that were in the job box were more voluminous and in-depth than what we put in the memo. Again, just trying to encapsulate some of the higher points of some of the firms for your review. And then just, recapping again, there were the 6 submittals to choose from, all providing the current level of service, so it was an apples to apples in the pricing quotations. And then staff tonight, to the greatest extent possible, is seeking direction as to which provider to move forward with, kind of work out, contracts and, some of the other finer points that go along with the whole process. And then myself or Ms. Heckler would be more than happy to answer any questions to the greatest extent that we can.
Okay, I'll start out with a couple questions. I'm leading definitely towards the Flood Brothers contract. Couple questions or concerns. There's a lot of things they're offering here, and it just seems like we're getting a Mercedes at a Buick price, and just curious what, if all these things aren't met, what are the ramifications as far as legalities of severing the contract if we ever had to do that?
Sure. Well, first of all, that would be ultimately the council's decision to move in that direction should you feel that the items in the contract were not being met. Each of the proposals, as well as I'm sure Mr. Bond would opine, the city has a couple of different remedy options available to us, so we would just need to consult with legal and be sure that we follow the remedy options outlined both in the contract and the Illinois compiled state statutes. So.
Okay. Next did anybody check on the references on either of the companies that submitted these bids? Any of the companies?
Well, the one company we have now, so we obviously know them. And a number of communities have them, so surrounding us. So we didn't go greatly in depth on them since we use them currently. A couple of the other firms we did, kind of like Mr. Cage referenced a couple weeks ago, just through professional organizations and meetings and whatnot, and it talked around. We didn't dive too deep into any one particular firm, so as to, I don't know, hate to say spin our wheels, but not knowing which direction they wanted to go, figured the full reference checks and whatnot would be part of the final vetting process based upon council direction.
Okay, and then one final question, and I'll let Alderman Woods. There was something in the contract that talked about unlimited cleanup day. Could you explain that? I wasn't quite sure exactly what that meant.
Sure. So, good evening, by the way. Right now, our current program allows for unlimited collection of anything, any weight. If certain haulers decided that they did not want to provide the unlimited collection, then an option would have been to have maybe 2 big cleanup days a year in the fall and the spring, so that residents would still have the option to dispose of those larger, bigger items. So that was where that came from. That was an option if the haulers chose not to do the unlimited option.
Okay. With that, I do want to make the motion to go with Flood Brothers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Alderman Woods, you had a question?
I was just gonna make the motion. I was done with questions.
The only thing I would like to add is just to make sure the references are checked. Other than that, can we have a roll call on this, please?
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino?
Yes.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes. That passes. Items to be considered at future meetings. O'Hare noise mailer sometime in the winter. Fiscal year 2018 CIP, January 12th, 2017. And fiscal year 2018 annual budget, February 23rd, 2017. Anything additional? With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.